Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about how I discovered the fandom, how I discovered furries and how I became one. I apologise if you hear any humming in the background. I do have a fan on directly in my head because it is a very hot day here in the UK. It's way too hot. I also apologise if you can't really hear me that well in this suit. But oh well. So, me discovering the furry fandom. It actually all started with me discovering anime. Way back in 2013, I was a student at university, studying paleontology, which is fossils and dinosaurs and all that stuff. I ended up tagging along to the anime society with one of my friends, and hey ho, boom, I discovered anime. Yay. Through discovering anime, I then obviously discovered cosplay and Comic-Cons and all that jazz. So as I joined up some Comic-Con groups on Facebook, I obviously then started looking through pictures that other people had uploaded on the sites. Now in the main Comic-Con group that I'm in, furries aren't really talked about a right lot. Furries, it's basically a stereotypical group where everyone hates furries, but you might get the odd one that likes them, is one, or is just plain okay with them because they're neutral. So I was looking through these pictures that someone had posted, and I came across pictures of fursuits. Didn't really think anything about it. I was just like, oh, that's a cool costume. That looks kind of fun to wear. Yay. By the time I'd done that, I'd had a boyfriend. I had a boyfriend by then. And I asked him, what's all this stuff about? What are these costumes about? And he was like, oh, they're furries. I wouldn't go anywhere near them if I were you. They're all a bit weird. And they're all like sexual deviants and all that kind of stuff. So I was just like, okay. And I just left it at that for a little bit. You know, I didn't look into the fandom. I didn't look at any more, I didn't on purposely look at any more pictures of fursuits. I just kept coming across them on this group every now and then. But the more and more I saw them by accident, the more I was interested in them. Because I was just like, you know what? It looks kind of fun. I low-key am interested in this stuff. So I ended up looking a bit more into the furry fandom, you know, Googling it, all that kind of stuff. So when it was just like people who are fans of anthropomorphic animals, I was just like, oh, well that's me. I've loved Disney since I was little. I've liked Looney Tunes, Scooby-Doo, Tom and Jerry, all that sort of stuff. So I was just like, oh, basically I'm a furry. But I didn't want to associate with furries because of the sexual side. I hadn't seen any of the sexual side by then. I hadn't seen any of it at all. I was still innocent in the eyes of the furry fandom. But you know, I still wanted to stay away because I thought if I ended up diving in at the deep end, I would probably find it very quickly. So I stayed away. Then come whatever year Zootopia was released. So, then comes Zootopia, or Zootropolis as it was called in the UK. Me and my boyfriend at the time, we went to go see it at the cinema. This is the same boyfriend that told me to stay away from furries. So, we went to the cinema to see it. We went at the worst time possible, because it's a kids' film. We went on a Saturday afternoon, which is when every single kid in the neighbourhood was going to the cinema to see Zootopia. So we just had the worst timing for going to see this film. So the cinema was just full of crying kids, and I hated it. Please, if you're taking your kids to the cinema, make sure they're not still babies. Make sure they're of an age where they can sit and watch a film. But that's enough of that. So, we were seeing Zootopia. We were sat right at the very back. I think we were the only adults there that were just adults. Everyone else was like adults with whining brat. So I think we were the only two adults there that were just wanting to see it because we wanted to see it. So cut to the end of the film. I love the film, by the way. So cut to the end of the film. I just kind of turned to my boyfriend and just went, well, shit, I'm a furry now. And that was it. Zootopia is what turned me into a furry. That was some point in 2016, I believe, is when Zootopia was released. I think. I don't know. So, come May 2016, so it might have been earlier in May, or maybe April that it was released in 2016. No. Come May 2016, that was when I was just like, right, I am doing this fandom stuff. I am doing it. So I made my Persona Snow, who is... Excuse me. So I made my Persona Snow, who is the other fursuit that you see mostly on this channel. She's just a plain white wolf with grey hand paws and a grey stripe going down her back, starting at the top of her head, going down to the tip of her tail. Sort of like where the spine, it was basically like going down her spine. I haven't added the grey stripe to the suit, but oh well. So, she was created. She, like I said, she's my persona. And I just wanted a suit of her. So, I was looking around and finding out that actual fursuits like this were really damn expensive. I had my very first Comic-Con coming up, which was Manchester MCM of 2016, which I believe was at the end of June. It was either the end of June or the end of July. It was one of them. I just wanted a suit. So I was looking online for cheap stuff, and I found the Thumbs Up Mr. Fox mask on Amazon for, I believe it was 30 something, 32 quid I think it was. So I bought it, and when it arrived, I loved it. I still do. I've had that Thumbs Up, I have had that mask for 4 years now. It is still holding up really well. I love it. I can actually sort of recommend those heads for beginner suits. So like, instead of wasting a couple of grand on a commission suit to then find out you don't like fursuiting, buy one of those Halloween masks, wear it for a little bit, test it out just to see if fursuiting is your thing. And for me, it definitely was my thing. I loved it. That head was... Oh my god, I got an itchy nose. That head was originally designed to be just a temporary head. Well, I saved up to get a commission, like just a cheap one. The people who make like the heads for like 200-300 quid. So just a cheap commission. But I ended up falling in love with the head so much that that mask then became Snow's permanent fursuit head. So I actually managed to get a fursuit for my very first convention. The suit has had some upgrades. The head has stayed the same, but I've ended up getting some new paws. I originally had 5-fingered paws, but I then upgraded to 4-finger. They're not really puffy or anything, they're literally just like the fur and that's it, with some like freaking paw pads glued to them. They're very cheap paws that I bought from a local Comic-Con, but they've done the job. The tail I initially had for it was just a cheap one off eBay. There was just like a strand of fur and that was it, that attached via safety pin. But then I upgraded to that nice white one from Kraken Critters, which I once again bought from them from a convention. And I got Snow a pair of white wings. which I haven't really worn in a video yet, but oh well. So yeah, that is how I became a furry. All thanks to anime. Yeah. Anime has done a lot for me. It's given me a hobby that I've actually stuck with for a long time. It's given me, it actually gave me the boyfriend at first. It's given me some really good friends. It's given me a lot of awesome memories through conventions. And it's also given me furries. Back then, I don't think there was that many furry anime out there. Well, I didn't really look into it because I was new. But now we got Beastars, Penguin Cafe, Africa Salaryman, and BNA, I think it was. I think that's the other one. So yeah, we have some nice furry anime out there now. I have only watched Beastars, but all the others are on my to watch list. I can definitely highly recommend Beastars. If you like Zootopia, it is the same sort of thing, but a lot darker and a lot more adult, because there is blood and there is sex in it. So yeah, that was my story on how I joined the fandom. It's a very short one, mostly because I was just like, what's furries? Google, watch Zootopia. Yay, I'm in. That is literally it. I was really quick in joining the fandom, and I've now been in the fandom a happy and amazing 4 years. And here's to a lot more years in the fandom. Maybe one day I'll actually be able to attend a furry convention. I haven't even attended a furry meetup yet. And around here they happen once a month. They happen once a month, every month. I just didn't have the money to attend. Because while you're there, you've got the travel there. So for me, a bus and a train. You've got the money to spend while you're there for food and drink, and maybe a few shops. I don't know if any of the meets near me have like little shopping experiences, but it's mostly travel, food, and drink. And they're expensive for someone who doesn't have a lot of money. I was lucky to have been able to afford this suit. Very lucky. And this suit wasn't even the most expensive. This was, I believe, 800, which is really cheap for a Beast Cub suit. So I was just lucky to have been able to afford this. So yeah, that was my story of how I joined the fandom. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and I shall see you all in the next video, whatever that'll be. Bye!